Fair for a square. It's a good day.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Good.
Good morning. Yep. The chef is out.
Where's our detective?
I'm sorry.
Detective, where are you
He's
at?
here, Your Honor. You want him on the
Why
stand?
don't you have him come on up? I imagine David's getting ready to bring him in.
Also, it's me. Everybody's here. Sorry. Sorry to interrupt. Nope.
Okay, we're gonna put the witness back on the stand, and you can bring him.
Okay.
So if you wanna go ahead and get him lined up, we should be together pretty quickly.
We don't need to put this on the record unless you tell me you do, but I do just want to say that I was coming in this morning to the security line at like 8:30, and there was a woman in front of me, which I wasn't able to see her face because she was in front of me, and when I came through, the tray had a watch in it. And so I said, ma'am, I think you left your watch, and she turned around and it was a juror. But I didn't say anything else to her, and she grabbed the watch, so.
Okay. These things happen in the biz.
Yep.
I threw the, the security to make you take the belt off. Well, she'll let.
It's like a trash bag. What's your bra?
All right, isn't that payback for the carbon badges?
Yeah. If only you knew how much that costs.
There's water up here too.
Can you say something when we just talk a little bit?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
Stay very far away from
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
Right. Back there is fine. Actually, yeah, you know what? I use that one because that has the hook on top. Or ask Kylie. I know. Tell them I want the hook on top.
All
Be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. How are you today? Okay, we're going to continue on with the examination. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
May.
Please support. Madam Prosecutor. William, Mariah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Detective.
Morning.
How are you, sir?
Good.
Okay, I wanted to pick up where, well, kind of hard to pick up where we left off, so I want to try and bring us up to speed if that's okay. Okay. So, you've been on this case for 2.5 years?
About that, yes.
Okay, I think you're going to need to speak up. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in that time, of course, you became familiar with the case.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then prior to trial, I presume you had met with the prosecution to kind of go over your testimony?
Yes, trial prep, yes.
Okay. So in the trial prep, how many times did you meet with the prosecutors?
Just once.
Okay. And during that time, did Mr. Zion make you aware that I had requested you be familiar with all of the audio recordings?
Yes.
Okay. And in addition to all of the recordings, all of the police reports?
Yes.
Because I wanted to give you an opportunity to make this go smoothly. So having said that, did you speak with them after you left the stand yesterday?
No, I did not, other than to come here at 9 a.m.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity to kind of dig back into your work and be a little more familiar with it so that way you can hopefully share what we know with the jury?
Mr. Baez, I will do my best, okay? But there's a lot in this investigation, so I can only do what I can do.
I'm aware of that.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay, both of y'all, let's go to questions and answers, okay?
Okay?
Sir, I just want to try and make this go smoothly for both of you and for myself, and especially for the jury.
I will do the best I can.
And that's all I ask, okay? So, having said that, I want to kind of, I kind of want to go over the investigation with you a little bit, and then after we kind of put it together, I have specific questions that I want to ask you, so you can see it in an overall picture, and maybe it might assist you a little bit better. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. So, having said that, prior to getting involved in this case, did you know what the doctrine of double effect is?
The
Okay,
dou-
this was asked and answered yesterday.
Okay. Don't believe I got into that yesterday, Judge.
You did get into it. You had it up on this, you had it up over here in the exhibit. You started to talk about it, and you went, I cut you back, so we've been
Okay.
through the double.
All right. Did you learn from the investigation what that was?
Can you say that again? What?
Yes. Did you learn throughout the course of your investigation what the doctrine of double effect was?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. This is a medical term. It's outside the scope of his knowledge.
He's investigating a medical case.
Okay,
These are
stop, both
important
of you two. We went through this yesterday. You can, if you're using it as a transitional point, let's get to the point then.
Yes, I am.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. Do you recall Mr. Dresbach, the pharmacist, bringing it to your attention?
No, I do not.
Okay. And would you like to review your notes on your conversation with Mr. Dresbach to see if that helps refresh your recollection?
Yes, sir.
Okay, counsel, we went through this yesterday.
Can we approach, because I think...
Yeah, let's do that. Ladies and gentlemen, entertain yourselves there. Get picked neighbor. proper order here. Give you my court reporter going here. Okay, Mr. Baez, continue on.
Thank you, Judge. Detective, you recall my last question about the doctrine of double effect?
Yes.
Okay, in fairness to you, it may have been brought up to you as the principle of double effect. Is that right?
No, it does not.
Okay. Did you note that in your police report that a witness may have brought it to your attention?
Possibly.
Okay. Did you take a look during the break?
Yeah, I looked at it during the break. I don't know specifically where you're talking about.
Okay. It's not, to save us time, it's not in the police report. I agree with that.
It's not in my summary, apparently, no.
Okay. Do you recall Gregory Dresbach, one of the two pharmacists who brought this case to everyone's attention, mentioning it to you?
No, I do not.
Okay. If I showed you a quick transcript of it, would that help refresh your recollection?
Yes.
May I approach?
Okay? Did you guys get a copy?
Highlight it on file.
He showed it to me, we have still not gotten copies of the transcription.
Okay. You're gonna have to mark that too, just for the sake of preservation for the Court of Appeals. We can do it on the break.
The rest of this too, on the back, or just this?
No, if you feel comfortable that that's, you've read enough, I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah, he talked about the double effect.
Okay, good. All right, so, sir, in light of that, he explained what the doctrine of double effect is, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you understood it to mean that,
Objection, this will be based upon hearsay, Your Honor.
I'm asking him what his understanding of the double effect.
I was gonna overrule the objection.
You understand that this doctrine basically means, and I'm bringing it down to rudimentary layman terms so you and I can kind of understand it, is that if a doctor's intention is to alleviate the pain, that if death is hastened or is caused as a result of that, that it is ethically permissible because the intention is to alleviate the pain.
Your Honor, again, I'm going to object. This is a medical term. He's not a doctor. He's going based upon only what one witness, not a doctor, told him. That's hearsay, and again, outside the scope of his knowledge.
Okay. It's understanding here. You've got a compound question going.
Okay.
So I'm gonna strike the question. Let's start over.
I'll rephrase it. Do you understand the doctrine of double effect to mean that the intent of the doctor in alleviating the pain is the primary issue, correct?
No, I do not. Just based on what I read there, no, I do not.
Okay. I realize you're not a doctor, so I'm not going to dig into what it means.
Well,
I
you keep
just
asking me
wanna know-
questions like
Okay,
I'm a doctor.
stop.
Okay.
Okay? Let's stop prefacing it. You're not sworn in, you're not on the stand.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Detective, I want to try and ask you the questions, and we have to take the report into consideration, so please let me finish the question, okay?
Yes, sir.
Having said that, do you believe you have a full understanding of what the doctrine of double effect is?
No, I do not.
Okay. After the pharmacist who is involved in this case, in this murder case, brought it to your attention, did you follow up and look into, either by asking a doctor or by doing your own research or even Googling, did you do anything to research the doctrine of double effect?
No, I did not.
Now, you also learned through various pharmacists in this case that there's quite a debate on this issue in the literature, correct?
About fentanyl?
Yeah. About doses, high doses of fentanyl, yes.
Repeat that again.
You also learned through various pharmacists who you spoke to in this case that the literature on this subject is quite debated.
Objection asked and answered yesterday, Your Honor, several times.
That was on the doses not hastening, but actually prolonging life.
Well, I'll let you have the question, but I thought we did cover it briefly yesterday, but let's go ahead and let you have the question. Overruled.
Do you recall we covered this yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, so just summing this up then, you learned from several pharmacists that the literature, there's quite a debate in the literature, correct?
About the dosage
Yes.
used? Yes.
Okay. So as a detective, that must have created a little bit of an issue for you, right?
No, it did not.
It didn't create an issue that the only information you're given, which is the dose amount, is debated in the medical community. That didn't create an issue for you.
I'm not a doctor. No, it did not.
So it created no challenges in your investigations, making determinations of what to do next.
No, it did not.
Okay. So, sir, you also learned from every single person you spoke with that Dr. Husel was very approachable and open to questions, correct?
Objection, this would be based upon hearsay, Your Honor.
Rephrase.
Sure. You learned through the course of your investigation, sir, that Dr. Husel was known to be very open to communication with nurses and pharmacists on communication in reference to his doses, correct?
Objection based upon hearsay.
I permit the
Not asking
question.
specific.
I permit the question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if a pharmacist or a nurse had a question about a medication, as far as you knew, he was quite open to explaining his reasoning behind it, right?
Okay.
Objection asked and answered.
Sustain, well, it's also speculative, so sustain.
So as far as, well, I'll move on, I think. I'll move on. You arrived on December 7th to conduct your first interview, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you did so, there were plenty of people around the ICU?
We did not go to the ICU. We met at the office across the street there at 6501, I believe it's East Broad Street.
Okay. And were you made aware that a petition had been drafted
Your
by
Honor,
the nurses?
objection relevant.
Okay,
To finish the question.
hold on. Let's sidebar. Make yourselves busy, guys. Yeah, I know you don't know your neighbor that well yet. Hold on one second. She has her wires. Okay.
Detective, on December 7th, when you were there,
Yes, sir.
did the hospital disclose to you a petition signed to reinstate Dr. Husel's employment?
I can't remember if it was that date, but I do remember somebody saying that there was a petition going around, yes.
Okay, somebody saying this was while you were there at the hospital?
Sir, I can't say. I do know that through the investigation, I can't tell you if it was that day unless you have it right there in front of you, whether they said it at that meeting or if it was while we were interviewing some of the nurses or what have you. But I do remember somebody saying something about a petition being signed.
I do have it. Would that refresh your recollection as to
Your
when
Honor,
you may have?
objection.
Judge, I have to finish these questions for our record. It's critical.
Okay, but we already had this
Yes,
discussion.
and what I want to
Sustained.
know. Okay. Now, in light of that, did you end up reading this petition?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Well, let me rephrase that. Did you examine it at any time in your investigation?
No, sir.
Did you not find it to be important?
No, we did not.
And you didn't find it to be important because you didn't want to know what the men and women
Objection, Your
who
Honor.
work with Dr. Husel, what actions that they might have taken in this case?
Sustained. Ladies and gentlemen, disregard the question.
I'll rephrase it. I'll move on, Judge. Now, yesterday we covered we discussed the process of the pixis machine and the process of how doses are administered at Mount Carmel. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're aware that you became aware through the course of your investigation that once a doctor issues the order, that basically the ball basically gets passed to the next individual, correct?
To the pharmacist.
Or to the nurse, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And that the doctors aren't made aware of anything once the ball is passed, correct? Unless it's actually rejected by pharmacy.
Objection, second.
To
I'll
discuss
permit
the
it.
process.
I don't know that for a fact.
You don't know that for a fact. Did you investigate that?
No. I mean, we investigated the process.
You didn't find it important enough to know what the doctor is advised of once the order leaves his hands?
Objection, argumentative.
Wow.
We,
It's for other reasons. It's sustained. Let's rephrase.
You did nothing to investigate what a doctor's made aware of once he gives an order for a dose of medication.
we knew if it was rejected, that the doctor would know that. But we all, okay.
Go ahead.
But we also knew that if it was, it could be overridden before the rejection even got back to them by the pharmacist.
Again, I think you're confusing overridden from.
Objection,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Sustained.
Okay, let me, are you aware the differences between a prospective review, retrospective review, and when in fact an override comes into play during that process?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So you're not fully familiar with what an override really is, are you, sir?
Just what we were told.
Mike, that's not my question. I said, so you're not really, since you don't know the differences and where an override comes into play, you're not familiar with what an override is.
Objection asked and answered.
Okay. Do you understand the question?
Yes, and no, I don't.
Okay.
So that's your answer? No, you don't. You're not aware. You're not fully aware.
I explained what we knew how it worked, and what you were asking me, no.
But you're not thoroughly familiar with the process.
No, that would be for the
Okay.
experts.
You're getting the same thing.
I just wanted to sum it
Let's
up. I'm
move
moving
on.
on, Judge. Now, sir, you were also, learned through the course of your investigation as to what vasopressors are and how they affect death on life support, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, it's a medical term. Again, this is outside the scope of
Okay.
his knowledge.
Do you understand the question?
Yes, I understand the
Okay,
question.
you can answer if you can.
I can't.
Okay?
And is that because, do you know what a vasopressor is?
No, once again, that's for the experts.
Okay, so just so I'm familiar with your way of investigating, sir. If a witness gives you a term that you don't understand, do you follow up to learn what it is?
It depends. In this case, like I said, we were brought in to talk to the nurses, the pharmacists, and some employees there at Mount Carmel. Okay? And then we were directed, by the prosecutor's office, what else they wanted us to do. And if anything else would have come up that they thought would be relevant, that we should talk to somebody, if Mr. O'Brien or Mr. Loeb, told us this, then we would go talk to them.
You told us yesterday that it's your job to follow the evidence, though, right?
Correct. And what you're asking me is for the
hold on,
experts.
I got another question for you. So, if a witness gives you evidence or information that they think is important, that is something you should follow up on. You would agree with that, right?
I agree the experts should follow up on it.
Did you talk to any experts about vasopressors?
Unless it's another term, a word you're using, no.
Okay. Sir, during the course of this case, you became familiar with what a pixis machine is, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's where the drugs are stored, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, did you ever ask from the hospital, any pixis audits?
Audits?
Yes. That have to do specifically with the pixis machine?
I'm not sure if we did or not.
Okay. Are you familiar with the fact that the pixis machines are audited?
No.
Okay. So you had no idea they existed?
The audit?
Pixis audit?
And I'm going to answer this, and you'll probably jump on me about this, but we know there was an audit done that gave us this list of people. Is that what you're talking about from? Okay.
Now, if
Then
you
no.
don't- Okay, if you don't understand the question, you say so. If you don't know the answer, you tell them.
I don't know the answer.
Okay. Did the hospital disclose to you that there are pixis audits?
I cannot recall if they did or not.
Okay. Did they advise you that these audits are done regularly?
That does sound familiar when we did a tour of Grove City. When we went to Grove City and they showed us the pixis machines and stuff. That does sound familiar.
Okay. So you don't know whether they were done regularly or not?
No, I do not.
And you also don't know whether they're obligated to do that under any law?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, are you also aware that there are override reports?
I can't say for sure, but I do remember hearing about that.
Okay, so, and you're also aware, well, are you aware that, well, I don't want to ask it that way, let me. So you wouldn't, do you know how often the pixis machine was overridden at Mount Carmel?
No, sir.
Would that have been important for you to know?
I can't answer that, sir.
You have no idea whether it would have been important or not. Is that your answer?
It'd be important probably to the experts, once again.
But to you, the detective investigating this case, to determine what happens next, that you
No,
don't
sir.
find that to be important.
No, sir.
Okay. Now, you mentioned yesterday that Dr. Roth actually went over the medical records with you?
Some of them, yes.
Okay. Now, Dr. Roth is the doctor at Trinity Health, not Mount Carmel.
Correct.
Okay. So no one at Mount Carmel went over these records with you?
No, not that, well, with us, no.
Okay. And when you're the one who actually prepared the progress of investigation report in this case, right?
Well, actually, all of us did. If we did something, we would put it in there. So we all kind of, if we did something that day, we'd come back or we'd tell our sergeant, and he would put it in for us.
But the report's signed by you, right?
Yes, sir.
And basically, it's you that signs on the dotted line.
Yes, sir.
Along with your supervisor
Yes, sir.
and your badge number, right?
Yes.
Now, in here, you're supposed to you're supposed to be thorough, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it's important to be thorough in a homicide case, right?
Yes.
And of course, truthful.
Yes.
So, in light of that, you have all the details, well, not all of the details, but you have summaries of all of of everyone who you interviewed, right?
Correct.
And it also talks about basically a chronological list of what you did in the case.
Yes, sir.
Things that you found to be important,
Yes, sir.
okay? Is there anywhere listed in any of, not only the progress investigation, but any supplemental reports that you may have filed that talks about you actually meeting with Dr. Roth and going over these medical records?
No, sir.
You didn't find that important enough to put in a report?
No. I mean, we met with him that day. He went over some cases.
So, we've never had any prior conversations, right?
No, sir.
Nor, I mean, yesterday, the first day we met, right?
Correct.
Okay, and there's nothing you did to advise anyone on the defense that you actually met with Dr. Roth and went over the medical records, right?
No, sir.
Now, the first person you met with was Randy Miles, right?
Correct.
Okay, and during the course of that, you found out that there were these two pharmacists who basically brought this case to their
Okay,
today's
we went
attention.
over this yesterday.
I'm going somewhere else with this.
Okay, well, let's go then.
You recall that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you were given a list of everybody and all the pharmacists that approved all of these cases, right?
Yes, sir.
And we went over yesterday how these two pharmacists had approved different cases, but there were multiple pharmacists that you spoke with about these cases, right?
Correct.
And it was only those two that actually brought it to Randy Miles' attention, right?
Correct.
And the reason for that, you found out, was because they didn't take issue with any of the
Your Honor,
cases,
objection,
right?
that would be hearsay.
Well, that's also speculation, sustained, rephrase.
What you found out is that they all either prospectively or retrospectively approved these medications, right?
Objection still based upon hearsay.
Okay, overruled.
You repeat your question, please?
What you found out is that all the other pharmacists, either prospectively or retrospectively, approved these medications.
Yes.
And at any point, did you put together the fact that all the other pharmacists are agreeing with this, and the two that brought this to the manager's attention had equal or higher doses approved in the past, and then mentioned diversion to you?
Okay.
Did you
Your Honor.
put that?
Object, sustained, asked and answered.
In examining all of this, sir, did you put all of that together?
Objection, Your Honor.
Again, asked and answered.
As part of your job, sir, when speaking to these pharmacists and their approvals, part of your job was to find out why they approved it, right?
I think that would have been for the pharmacy board, when they went before the pharmacy board.
Let me ask you this, though. I'm talking about you, okay? I can only ask you what you are doing and thinking, so please limit your answer to that.
Okay.
So my question to you, sir, is that when you're part of your job, when finding out the pharmacists who approve these medications, is to find out why and their justification for it, right?
Yes,
Okay. And do you do that by simply asking them, right?
correct.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you had the reports, I'm sorry, the medical records for Ms. Penix, right?
Correct.
Okay, and part of that investigation on Ms. Penix, fair to say you had a lot more information on Ms. Penix than you did anyone else, right?
Right at first, yes.
Okay, and part of that required going to the pharmacist, Gregory White, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and you learned that Gregory White was peripherally involved throughout the evening with this patient, right?
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained.
I'm asking about actions.
Okay, that wasn't what you asked, but
You learned during the course of your investigation that Gregory White was involved throughout the evening with Ms. Penix's care.
Objection, hearsay.
That's not hearsay.
okay. Is that your understanding?
yes,
Okay.
Now, this wasn't a situation, so being as that he was involved, you also learned that she was actively dying that evening, right?
Objection,
Okay.
hearsay, also calls for medical information that's outside
Sustained.
the scope.
Were you ever, oh, we'll strike that. Now, I want to talk to you about part of what you were trying to investigate. One of the things that you also investigated was how the conversations work with families when someone's making a decision to get off of life support, right?
we asked about that, yes.
Okay. And you learned that Dr. Husel was very meticulous as to the information that he gives when having these conversations.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled for now.
Yeah, we discovered he had a certain quote that he would tell the families.
Okay, so, you also learned that he was one of the doctors that would wait until families approached either the nurses or doctors, correct?
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor. That can only come through the statements of witnesses.
Okay, that's sustained.
Now, you also learned, well, let me ask it this way. In light of this, would it have been important for you to find out whether Dr. Husel ever advised patients of the potential side effects of any of these drugs?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll permit him to answer it if he can.
I can't answer that question.
Okay, do you understand what the question is?
No, please say it again.
Okay. My question to you is, would it be important for you to find out if Dr. Husel actually told the patient's families what the potential side effects are of these drugs?
Objection, Your Honor. That would be based upon hearsay.
No, it's not, I'm asking.
Okay, it's his perception. Did you have perception on the issue?
No, I did not.
You didn't think that that would be an
We did
important-
not ask that, no.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, do you think it would be important to ask, or do you think it would be important to find out if Dr. Husel actually informed patients of the potential side effects of these drugs?
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes, we may. we're still setting up. I feel like you're dominating that one section.
I know.
Gotta give a little loving over here, a little loving over
Come
there.
over this way to make sure. Next time. I gotta give her my questions.
Okay? Hold on. Ready?
Detective, I'm just about wrapping up. What I want to know from you is, did you find it important to know whether Dr. Husel had actually informed patients?
Objection, that would be based on hearsay.
I note the objection. We're still going through the process.
Did you find it important to know whether Dr. Husel informed patients of the potential side effects of these drugs?
No.
You didn't find that to be an important fact?
Okay,
Objection.
counsel?
Sure. And that's, okay. One moment, Judge. Couple of quick follow-ups. You said you had toured Mount Carmel Grove, correct?
Grove City, yes.
Grove City. Did you ever tour Mount Carmel West?
No, I did not.
So you never toured where any of this happened?
A colleague of mine did, Detective Pennington, and one of our CSSU detectives went, and I believe my sergeant.
I got a question for you on this. Once the decision is made and a patient is extubated, did you find out how that process works?
You mean just taking the tube out?
Yes. Did you ask someone, hey, nurse so walk me through a palliative extubation. Show me where it is here, show me the machines, and then also, where does the doctor usually go? Is it in the room? Is there a monitoring station where they monitor the vitals? Did you do something along those lines?
I did not do that personally, no.
Okay. Did you instruct anyone to do that?
No, I did not.
Are you aware that there is a monitoring station?
I would,
I don't want you to assume.
no. I mean, no.
So you don't know what devices or what vital signs are monitored after a palliative extubation occurs?
Once again, that would be for the experts, sir. No.
Okay? And you don't know the custom and practice of Mount Carmel as to what occurs during the process of a palliative extubation?
I'm sure they went over it, but I cannot recall step by step, no.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Redirect?
Thank you, Your Honor. Jose, you can leave that.
I actually blocked it. Put it there.
Detective Gillette, can you hold up your summary sheets for us? All right, I'm estimating a few hundred pages. Would you estimate the same?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's all the reports and all the summaries and all the paperwork that Columbus Police Department gathered in this investigation.
Yes, that's our interviews
Object,
that we
these
did.
not to show the council previously.
Actually, they were provided in discovery. That was the summary sheets you handed to them.
Everything I've showed council is also disclosed in discovery, but the rule is they have to show us what they're going to show or question the witness on.
Actually, you handed these to them yesterday.
Because you handed it to me.
Okay.
Jose?
Okay, guys. Hold on before we go any
reduction in just the medical records.
Depending on your question.
So, would you estimate a few hundred pages of your reports?
Yes, ma'am.
These are the medical records of our 14 victims we're here on today?
Correct.
Any estimate of how many pages those are?
I have, no, probably 1,000 or so.
Few thousands?
Yes.
I don't suppose you have a photographic memory, do you?
No, I do not.
That would have been helpful with this case, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would have.
Objection, leading, commentary.
Sustain, let's rephrase.
Do you have a photographic memory, sir?
No, I do not.
And how many people did you have working with you on this case in order to conduct all those interviews?
5 of us.
How many hours of audio recordings would you estimate there are in this case?
Objection, calls for speculation.
If you know.
It has to be,
Objection.
Okay, you not for sure?
I'm guessing over probably
Objection.
Okay,
200.
hold on. You're not for sure of the number.
I mean, I can't give you
Okay, fine enough. Let her ask the next question.
But there's probably, I think you estimated 60 witnesses to
Objection,
interview.
leading.
Yeah,
It's transitional. I'll let her have it.
yes.
So more than a few hours.
More than a few hours, yes.
And I believe we received a request from Attorney Baez around this past Sunday at 3 o'clock for you to listen to all those.
Objection.
Would that sound accurate?
Counsel's
I'll
test.
sustain it, rephrase.
Do you recall when you received notice that defense wanted you to listen to all of those interviews?
Yes, it was Sunday about 3:30.
All right, are you familiar with HIPAA? That's that lovely federal statute that's supposed to make our life easier.
I have a general idea of HIPAA, yes.
All right. When HIPAA was passed by the federal government, how did that affect your ability to get easy access to medical records of victims?
It made it very difficult.
It's beyond the scope.
I'll give it a
And there's
little,
law enforcement
let's,
exception to HIPAA.
I'll give it a little bit of leeway with it. Tie it in real quick.
Yep, absolutely. Were you able just to walk into the hospital on December 7th, 2018 and obtain all these medical records?
No, ma'am.
All right, so let's talk about one of the witnesses that they questioned you on was Theresa Sauber. And I believe you had asked for your report and it wasn't given to you at that time.
Correct.
Do you have your report with you today?
Yes.
Would that help refresh your memory regarding what happened with Theresa Sauber, who was the nurse for Miss Belisari?
Yes.
All right, and I am going to direct you to make your life a little bit simpler to page 7 of your report,
Of the progress?
of the summary progress, yes. And let me know if that refreshes your memory or not.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Okay, what were your efforts to interview Theresa Sauber?
Detective Pennington and I responded to her address, but the address was no longer any good.
Did you look for her at any other possible addresses?
Yes, but we could not find any.
And are you aware that she's currently deceased?
Objection.
Okay, this is a little outside the scope. I'll give it to you for now, but let's tie it up.
Are
And
you-
it's a strike. It's admitting a fact into evidence.
Okay, overruled.
Are you aware that she's now deceased?
I was not.
Okay. Let's talk about, we talked about Joanne Belisari, Ryan Hayes. Did you interview Nurse Troy Rudman?
Yes.
Did you interview Nurse Tyler Brigner?
Yes.
Talk about Beverly Schertzinger. Did you interview Nurse Derek Dreyer?
Yes.
And he was also on Francis Burke and Jeremiah Hodge?
That's correct.
Talking about Danny Millette, did you interview Jacob Deemer?
Yes.
And he was also on James Timmons' case?
Yes.
Looking at Brandy McDonald, did you interview Jamie Burke?
Yes.
Looking at, and Deemer, I guess Mr. Deemer was also on James Allen?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you, looking at Troy Allison, did you interview Jason Schultz?
Yes.
Looking at Bonnie Austin, did you interview Yusef Ibrahim?
Yes.
Looking at Sandra Castle, did you interview Stephanie Lashard?
Correct.
Looking at Rebecca Walls and Melissa Penix, the first two you were there on, did you interview Wesley Black?
Yes, ma'am.
Attorney Baez asked you about other possible crimes when you were there. You're a homicide detective.
Correct.
Do you investigate federal crimes?
No, we do not.
He asked you about Medicaid fraud. Did you investigate Medicaid fraud?
No, we did not.
All right, and do you remember whether or not another law enforcement agency contacted you regarding investigating that Medicaid fraud?
I believe somebody contacted Sergeant McConnell.
Objection.
Okay, it's the I believe in there,
Okay.
sustained.
Would anything refresh your memory regarding this?
Yes.
And what would that be, sir?
My progress.
All right, and to keep it simple, I'm going to direct your attention to page 5 of your report.
Objection, Judge, may we approach?
You may. Hi, guys.
If you want that on the record, you have to be
I'm sorry, sir.
I'm sorry.
I got it covered. I'll tell you exactly what happened for the record.
I'm ready now.
Okay, the objection's been withdrawn. Do you remember the question?
Yes.
It was referring you to a page 5.
Yes.
Okay, ask your question.
I will. Have you refreshed your memory, Detective Gillette?
Yes.
All right. Was Columbus Police Department contacted at some point by the Ohio Attorney General's office regarding possible Medicaid fraud investigation regarding Mount Carmel.
Yes, on January
Okay.
28th of 19.
Okay, that's enough.
Okay.
Attorney Baez also asked you about investigations into wrongdoings of the pharmacist and the nurses in this case. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you aware of whether or not at any point, either before or after your investigation, Mount Carmel made referrals to the appropriate?
Judge, my question was on criminal.
Okay, I understand. Finish your question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appropriate professional boards for those individuals.
Okay, sustained.
Okay. All right, and I'm going to clarify this without saying what the witnesses said, because that would be hearsay. After you completed your investigation, did you, as one of the investigators, have any concerns that any of these extremely large doses of fentanyl?
Objection, leading, she's testifying.
Okay, well, I'll let her finish her question. She's not testifying yet, but be
were
careful.
stolen?
No.
And
Okay, overruled then.
after your investigation regarding our 14 victims only that we're talking about here today, did you have any concerns that these victims did not receive those doses of fentanyl, hydromorphine, and the dazzler?
Correct.
Was that a yes or?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
So they did receive these or they did not receive these?
They did receive them, yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, you can step down. Let's take our 15-minute break a little early, guys, because I don't want to start a witness and get their name on the record and move, send you on break. So remember the admonition, we'll get started at 10:30.
All right.
You're done, just let the jury get out first, just sit there and relax. Have a great break, guys. And our tradition is one side is numbers, one side is letters. And you guys have correlated yours with multiple letters, okay? And I don't know if that's a correlative thing. Yes, sir.
Well, to be fair, there's so much here. We're using numbers, we're starting with numbers, but then there's subsets, so we're using numbers and letters. And I think we agreed they could use letters. They'll
And
start
numbers.
theirs with letters, and then for their subparts.
I don't have a problem with that. It's just how it starts,
Yeah,
okay? But the exhibit yesterday was MFZ.
it was, oh, I wrote it down.
I think it was M2.
MCD-1, and that's that chart there.
MCD-1.
Is that right?
So medical chart dilemma or something? I don't know.
Oh,
Okay. Just so my court reporter understands your system, you guys let her know, okay? There was a bunch of stuff shown to the witnesses that needs to be marked, stuff shown to the jury in opening that need to be marked so that the Court of Appeals has a reference point.
Judge, I'm instructing Mr. Lapidus right now to take care of that on our end.
Okay? Well, I would suggest you do it at the court reporter's leisure and don't make her upset, but that's okay. Okay? Okay. We'll stand in recess till 10:30.
Judge, for the record,
Yeah,
while she's getting the logistics, a packet was shown by both the defense and us and on redirect to Detective Gillette. It is, for the record, what we believe to be a complete copy of his preliminary reports and investigations. We don't believe that this should come into evidence because it contains hearsay. So we're going to mark it as Court's Exhibit 1 because it was shown to a witness. So it'll go just for you and for part of the record.
As long as we can identify for the Court of Appeals, that's what I'm after.
That's what we're doing.
And I don't mind laying it on me, but in the future, if you show something, you should identify it on the record as you show it. That's all. And I just want everybody to have it all in line so the Court of Appeals is happy. Okay. I know.
So, Judge, is that okay? I mark on the
As soon as I get done today, I'm jumping.
Yep.
I'm jumping and going.
Heard you telling Howard that. Then, one of the jurors was just curious as to what hearsay is.
Okay, I'll explain it to him. I explained to him yesterday.
I think, and I said, I can't answer that question, I'll have the judge talk to you about it, but I can say, that a lot of lawyers don't make sense.
I'm gonna take, before we bring the next witness, I'm gonna take another education one, because I've also used the term speculation, and they gotta understand what it means under the law.
I don't
So,
know, but
I'll address
maybe
those.
you're better at explaining it than I am, but.
Do you, I was gonna offer you something, because I saw you over
I'm gonna
there.
go to the restaurant, I got an exploding fentanyl situation.
Well, that's what, I heard you say that, and I was like, uh-oh, what happened? And then I saw you trying to write it out, and you go back and press like, so,
All right, I'll give you a shot.
yes,
We're out for a few minutes, right? Because of
30.
30?
Yeah, 10:30.
10:30.
10:30. Diane had to run and do a judicial release for Sarah, and we'll be right back.
Okay?
Okay?
Well, she's engaged. Why is Sarah even messing with her?
Because it's Judge Sarah, he's super important.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna show him how important he is.
We do. Yeah, it's just in the, like, conference room where the copier is and stuff like that. I'm gonna try and bring down the one jury room too, so.
It's not even his dispo day. His dispo day is on Thursday.
I may have brought you full-size candy bars. Today?
You are so amazing. Yeah, I'm going to bury it up. I'm going to switch it up.
I know.
I'm just looking at it.
Yeah.
You're settled. I was showing colleagues the stuff I intend to show. Would you like to look at that
Yeah.
right now?
I'm sorry, I had a judicial release and then the interpreter's not there.
Oh, my God. I didn't even try to.
Like,
Okay.
Sarah's like,
All right, these are, I pulled these last night, actually, because I didn't know you guys were going to be talking about all the dismissed counts, but I think it's relevant now because he had that big chart up. So these are the orders, this is all from the medical records that we've all stipulated to. Since they're not part of the 14, I just made them 19, so he dealt with Longstreth, Brigner, these are all dismissed ones. That's 2 pages of Brigner. Janet Kavanaugh, the orders right from the medical records. And did I have 2 Kavanaughs? Oh, this is the order, and this is the MAR. He said when I showed these to Talon, he's like, I need to look at the MAR to see what happened on them. So, but those are all from the medical records that we've stipulated to.
okay.
These are then for the patients that are in the indictment, Bonnie Austin, the orders which list Talon as the pharmacist, her photograph for Bonnie, and then this is the pixis log.
Okay, but he's never seen Bonnie, so introducing the photograph, I'm gonna object to that. I mean, he's never seen Bonnie, so we don't need to show him the photo of Bonnie.
Okay, all right. Well, but the jury's seen it, and it's in evidence now. So I think, would it be okay to say, directing your attention to Bonnie Austin, so they know who we're talking about? They've seen the photograph of Bonnie.
No, because he doesn't ever seen Bonnie. You can ask him, did you ever see Bonnie Austin? If he says, yes, I did,
All
then you
right,
can
well,
tell him.
then I'll just sidestep that all if you're going to object. Because no, I don't think he saw any other patient. Get rid of that one. So, and then James Timmons. But the same thing for each of the 3 that are still in the indictment. So medication order, this. We get rid of Brandy's picture. And then the same thing. And I've tried to line the records with the original, so you know what we're talking about. Okay.
Okay.
We cool, copacetic on all that? Okay. And then our files.
Uh-huh.
That is.
Be seated. Before we get started, Mr. Zion, Darcy indicated there were some questions. The concept of hearsay, okay? It's a legal concept. The definition is an out-of-court statement offered to the truth of the matter asserted. I know that probably doesn't mean much to you, okay? It's essentially what someone else said, okay? The reliability, so we generally don't know what those things are. There's exceptions to that, and I will guide you through that, okay? The second thing is the word speculation. Like you guys anticipate, it's guessing. You can't guess what someone else thinks about, okay? They're the only one who can tell us what they think about them, okay? Now, you can talk about their actions, what they did, but you can't guess what was going on in their mind, okay? I think I covered the questions I got. Okay, Mr. Zion, call your next witness.
The state of Ohio calls Talon Schroyer to the stand.
Come on around.
Follow me.
But you're more important getting up here than he is.
On up. Please raise your right hand and remain standing with the judge.
Okay, Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Go ahead and make yourself comfortable there. Now, inside there, you can lower your mask.
All right.
Okay? I need you to state your name for the record and spell your name so the court reporter can get used to your diction.
Sure thing.
We're dealing with the plexiglass, and sometimes it's tough for her to hear, so we want to make sure she can. Okay?
Yep, say when.
Go ahead.
Talon Schroyer, T like Tom, A-L-O-N, Schroyer, S like Sam, C-H-R-O-Y-E-R.
Is that good? Okay. Now you got an aerial mic there in front of you, okay? Enunciate, and we'll be good, okay?
Okey dokey.
Okay. Mr. Zion?
Can you please tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what it is you do for a living?
I'm a pharmacist.
And what kind of training did you receive, education and any other training you might have had to become a pharmacist?
Undergrad degree, doctor of pharmacy degree, and then work experience after that.
Where did you go to school?
Neomed, Northeast Ohio Medical University,
Thank you. And what year did you graduate?
14.
And what was your first, and did you then after have to take a test to become a pharmacist in the state of Ohio? Did you take that test?
I did.
Okay, are you guys hearing okay? Or you need some volume? Okay, you're gonna,
Yeah.
you speak up, knock it down, we'll be good, okay? I just wanna make sure they can hear you.
Understood.
That's all
Better?
people's training.
Is this better?
Yes.
And I'm going to stand back here because I think sometimes when I'm far away from witnesses, it makes them project a little better. You took a test to become a pharmacist?
Correct.
Did you pass that test?
Yes, sir.
And did you become thereafter licensed in the state of Ohio?
Yes, sir.
And what year was that?
14.
All right. Did you thereafter get a job in pharmacy?
Yes, sir.
And what was your first job in pharmacy?
Pharmacy manager at Walgreens.
And what type of pharmacist works at Walgreens? Is there a difference between clinical pharmacy and retail pharmacy?
Sure.
Okay. And what was this job at Walgreens? Was it clinical or retail?
It was retail.
Okay. So explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury the difference between retail and clinical pharmacy.
There's a lot of similarities and a lot of differences. The same general types of things. You receive prescriptions or orders. You look at their validity and assess the appropriateness or whatnot, and then you, in the clinical world, you approve or verify them. In the retail world, you will dispense the medication to the patient at that point. There may be differences in what drugs you see depending on which scenario or which place you're working. There's lots of drugs that are only in the hospital and lots of drugs you don't often see in a hospital. But by and large, it's the same type of work.
When you work in a hospital, were you ever called to bedside and be part of a team of doctors and other medical professionals in assessing a patient's needs?
Not really assessing. In the case of an emergency, yes, pharmacists were present at what we call events.
Okay, and what'd you call them?
Events,
All right,
So-
would that be a difference between what you would do in retail pharmacy?
yes.
All right. So you have this job at Walgreens in 2014 doing retail pharmacy. At some point, did you get hired in the area of clinical pharmacy?
Yes.
And where was that at and what year was that?
Mount Carmel West in 17.
All right. And what shift did you work at Mount Carmel? What shift were you hired on to work at Mount Carmel West in 2017?
Nights.
Tell us about the night shift at Mount Carmel West in 2017, when you got hired. Where is it located?
The hospital
No, the pharmacy.
on the first floor.
All right. And do you work with anybody?
Yes.
And what hours do you work?
I work 9P to 7A.
Okay. And how many other pharmacists do you work with during that shift?
For the first couple hours, there was still the remainder of evening shift, but as of 11 p.m., it was me and one other person.
All right. Mr. Baez asked a fair question yesterday. He said, where was pharmacy during all of this? So physically, where is pharmacy during all of this? Are you in that first floor room with one other pharmacist during the night shift?
Object, Your Honor. Compound question, also leaving the witness. Mr. Wright.
Okay. Sustain, let's rephrase.
Where is pharmacy physically located in all of this?
The first floor.
All right. So that's where pharmacy is physically. And how many other people after 9 p.m. are you with?
4 or 5, I don't remember. After 9, the evening shift is there till 11, or was.
Correct.
And then at 11 they left, it was
At 11, that's what I meant to say. At 11 they left.
correct.
And where are those other pharmacists physically? Where is pharmacy in that evening shift until 11 p.m.? Where are they?
Not all in the basement, or in the first floor.
Where are
So,
they?
there was one in the ER, there was one in the ICU, there was one on just like general med-surg floor, I think it was 6. Maybe another one, I don't remember. I didn't work evenings.
Okay. But there are other pharmacists, to your knowledge, in these different departments.
Correct.
And just so, in case someone doesn't know the abbreviations you used, ER stands for,
Emergency room,
med-surg stands for,
medicine, surgery,
and ICU stands for.
intensive care unit.
All right. So until 9 p.m., they all have their own pharmacist, and are they physically on the floors?
Till 11,
Till 11,
Yes.
I keep saying 9, I apologize, I gotta get that on my mind. Till 11, they're on, right?
Your Honor, I think it's mischaracterizing the testimony, which wasn't that they all had their own pharmacist. It was just that there was pharmacists on that floor.
Okay, overruled for now. Let's clear it up.
Were those pharmacists that you just referred to, the ones on evening shift, assigned to those departments?
For that day, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I don't think anyone had a permanent position, if you will, but yes, for that day, to my understanding, when you came in at 3, you were working, okay, I'm working on 6 today.
Okay, they could move around, but they would dedicate it to that department if that was their assignment for that evening.
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
All right. So to answer Mr. Baez's fair question,
Objection, Your Honor, as to including Mr. Baez's
Okay.
questions into today's.
Let's move on, let's take it out of there.
that's not testimony. I think I'm allowed to ask the questions he said
Wow.
yesterday.
Go ahead and ask the question, let's see where it goes.
Physically, where is pharmacy? To transition, Judge, and 611, I'm allowed to.
Understand the rules.
Physically, you've got you and another pharmacist on the first floor in the central pharmacy,
Yes,
and until 11 p.m., each department has their own assigned pharmacist.
I don't think it was each department, but there were pharmacists assigned to other departments.
The ones you mentioned. After 11 p.m., physically, where is pharmacy?
Objection asked and answered, Your Honor.
I'll give him the transition, go ahead.
On the central pharmacy of the first floor,
And how many are there?
2,
And is that for the whole hospital?
yes.
So what if after 11 p.m., the emergency department has a pharmacy question? Who do they call?
Pharmacy. Yeah, one of us, yeah.
One of the two. What if the OR has a pharmacy question? Who do they call?
One of us, pharmacy.
One of the two, correct?
Right,
If the ICU has a pharmacy question, who do they call?
pharmacy.
So you two are in for the whole hospital from 11 to 7.
Somebody came in at 6, but yes.
Okay, 11 to 6. Let's, you're good, you're good. I'm numbers. 11 to 6. That shift, it's the two of you.
Correct.
All right. So you're down on the first floor, 11 p.m. Did you ever work with a guy named Greg Dreschbaugh?
Yes,
All right. Did you work with him often?
yes,
Did you get to know Greg?
yes.
Did you know his experience?
Yes,
Did you rely on his experience?
yes,
Is he a friend otherwise?
yes,
Did you work with him often?
yes.
All right. Tell the jury about the setup in the first floor pharmacy after 11 p.m., just so they can have in their minds what's going on down there. Do you have desks? Do you have cubes? Is it a big room? Tell them about that.
It was a big room. There were, in the sort of middle area, there were 5 dual monitor computers set up at a desk not unlike this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's where all the computer order entry stuff was done. Right there at phones at every desk, and that's where you sat. And then the other duties down there, as far as verifying product, IV bags and meds that aren't in pixis that need to go up to patients or whatever, happened all about you there in the first floor pharmacy. But the main, I guess, station was 5 PCs in the middle of this good-sized room.
All right. A lot of information. Let's break that down. Let's talk about the dual screens. Why do you have dual screens in front of you?
The way Cerner, the pharmacy, or the electronic medical record software that Mount Carmel used at the time was called Cerner.
CERN. So the record's clear. Is that an acronym, or how do you spell CERN?
CERNER.
Okay, CERN. That's a software program you said?
It was the EMR that they used, yes.
EMR. What does EMR stand for?
Electronic medical record.
Okay. So everybody at the hospital, they don't have like big stacks of paper anymore. It's all electronic?
I don't know if it was all electronic, but a lot of it was for sure.
All right. And that's on the Cerner system, and that's on one screen?
Cerner had 2 parts, Power Chart, which was all the everything, and then there was PharmNet, which just pharmacy used. So it was handy to have, in pharmacy anyway, have 2 screens.
All right. So Cerner's on one side. What's on the other side?
It's called PharmNet.
Okay. Tell us about PharmNet. That's also a computer software program that was in use?
I think it's part of Cerner, I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's all one thing.
So it's integrated with the EMR Cerner?
Sure.
Your Honor, I really hate to object, as this court knows, but let's cut down on the leading, please. I'd ask that he be instructed.
Okay, I'm gonna give him a little leeway with this, but she's right. You're doing a lot of leading. I understand you're trying to get through difficult subjects, so I'll give you latitude right now, but,
I appreciate that, Judge. I feel I'm summarizing this transition.
okay.
Tell them about how these 2 systems work together.
To the best of my recollection, PharmNet was just pharmacy. It was the medication orders that came in that you could manipulate on the one side, and the other side was everything else about the patient. So the rest of the chart was in Power Chart.
All right.
Yeah, Power Chart.
POWER.
So, I'm going to present with you a hypothetical before we go into the particulars. Let's say a doctor in either the ER, the OR, or the ICU wants to prescribe medication to a patient. How does that process work in a general way? And what would be your involvement? If you could explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what your involvement, if any, would be in that process.
In the prescribing itself, I don't know. It is done in the Power Chart side, but an order is placed somehow, and then it comes across into pharmacy under that patient in the PharmNet side. And from there, we can, manipulate it, verify it, or reject it, or put it on hold, or there were some other options I don't remember. Didn't use all that often, but it was ordered by someone in Power Chart, and then it came to pharmacy, and we saw it in PharmNet.
Okay. So when it comes into PharmNet, what is the purpose, based on your training and experience, of however it's ordered? You don't know that side of things. When it comes to you, you know this side of things, right? Do you know the purpose of you and other pharmacists being there to look at these orders? Why do we have PharmNet? Why are you down there?
To verify
Judge, Your
medication.
Honor, compound question, if we
I
could
agree.
ask one at a time.
I agree, sustained.
What What is your role in this process?
The medication order process,
Yeah.
to verify a prescription order that has been ordered, to verify an order that has been ordered.
Okay. Why?
Calls for speculation as to why that's his job.
Okay, he's talking about in the capacity, in your job,
Yeah.
okay? You say that you could approve it, what else can you do with it?
You could verify it, you could reject it. Like I said, there were some other options I don't remember.
Okay,
It's been a minute.
and what was the purpose for that ability?
To my best guess, to either allow or prevent something from happening.
We don't want you guessing. You're a trained pharmacist, right?
Right,
You're a licensed pharmacist.
correct.
You're still a licensed pharmacist.
Yes, sir.
What's the role of a pharmacist in general in reviewing these medications?
To ensure patient safety, to ensure appropriate outcomes,
To ensure patient safety, I heard. What was the next one?
appropriate outcomes
So how do you do that?
by, when the medication would come across, you have all the patient information on the other screen. You look at what the medication was, dose, strength, medication, indication if it's there, and then you look at the chart and assess its, for lack of a better word, appropriateness.
Okay. Are you part of the safety system for good patient outcome in the hospital?
Yes.
So where is pharmacy? Getting back to that. These come across to you in pharmacy and you do those things, right?
Yes.
Do you have the ability to do them, looking back in 2018, did you have the ability to do all those things as part of the safety part of your job for patients on all prescriptions that came in from these different departments?
Can you ask that again, please?
You said part of your role, just to summarize, was, we'll call it generally safety, good outcomes. Every order that came through, did you have a chance to review it before it was given to a patient?
Not every order, no.
All right. Based on your understanding and your training and experience back in 2018, explain to the jury why not every order?
There are medications in the central pharmacy downstairs. There are also medications on, I think, every floor, at least in locations around the hospital, in automated dispensing machines. We use the Pixis brand, Pixis machines. So
I'm going to stop you there so she's clear. We've said that a few times. Can you spell that for the record?
P-Y-X-I-S, Pixis.
Pixis. And just while you're on it, I don't want to interrupt you, but, well, I'm guessing. Explain to them what a Pixis machine is, what it physically looks like, and what it's, go from there, explain it.
I don't know what Pixis calls it officially, but it's an automated dispensing cabinet. It's basically well, they come in various sizes, but the ones most typically seen on a floor were about yay big, about waist high, with a computer screen on top, and then a bunch of little drawers in the front that pharmacy stocked full of meds that were commonly used on the floor the machine was on.
Okay, you did a bunch of hand gestures there. Help me out, okay? You did something like that, so a couple feet across?
Sure. Couple feet across, couple feet deep, waist high.
Okay,
So not real big, and then the front of it was loaded with drawers of varying sizes, from a couple inches, 2 by 4 or whatever, to bigger drawers for meds that are bigger or used more often.
Showing you what I marked for identification purposes, has States Exhibit 15H and 15I.
Yeah.
Do you recognize what, for the record, those are photographs? For the record, those are photographs I've handed the witness. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph?
Yes,
What is depicted in those photographs?
pixis machines.
And do they appear to be fair and accurate representations of what you just described?
Yeah,
And where are those pixis machines located?
no idea.
I'm sorry. I mean, in general, where are they located?
On the floors,
Okay.
on the,
They're
yeah,
not down on the central with you and Greg, they're up on the floors.
correct.
I'm sorry, what was your answer?
He
Correct.
said correct.
May I publish these, Your Honor?
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
So showing the jury what I've marked for states 15H. Boy, that's awful.
Well, get the focus.
Crap.
Your Honor, if I may, I may be able to.
Yeah. You're slightly younger than him, or substantially younger. What do they say when it comes to technology, to be a 13-year-old?
Look at you. I didn't touch anything, I promise. Okay, I guess that, let's see that. All right, it's 15H. What's the jury looking at now?
A pixis machine, well, several, but
Okay, can you guys see it? I can turn down the lights. You guys okay? Okay.
Can I give the witness a laser pointer?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a laser pointer here. Show the jury what you were talking about when describing with your hand gestures.
so I was just describing one of these units here. And there's, those drawers in the front all have different compartments inside with lids that are locked and will open up to allow you to access different medications. And the computer screen on top and keyboard underneath there is how you determined, you know, you go to the PICS machine to select a patient, and that's how you are able to get that medicine for that patient on that floor.
Okay. It looks like there's like something off to the side that's a little taller. Is that part of the pixis machine?
Over here,
Yeah.
it is in this case.
All right, I'm going to show what you identified as 15I. Oh, that's better. Is that just what we just saw a little clearer?
Yeah, this here is the same thing that was on the right of the other one, the big tall thing.
What's kept in there?
More pharmacy supply, drugs, IV bags, bigger things that don't fit in a little drawer.
Okay. But you still needed to type something in
Right.
to get it even out of that big, the fridge there? Or
Right.
whatever that is?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's back to the first floor. So an order comes in. What screen is it popping up? Cerner or Pharma?
In the pharmacy?
Yeah, you're back on the first floor. We're just talking about the process.
Okay. Yeah, FarmNet.
Pharma. Give us a hypothetical of an order, how it comes to you if you have a chance to review it ahead of time.
Well, it comes across on the screen, and there's the room number and the patient and the drug, and it's just a line in a queue. And then you can click on it and open it up and see more details about the drug. If it's an IV, you'll see like concentration and how quickly they're giving it and things like that. But in that order entry queue in pharmacy, it's just real general stuff in a queue of, boom, 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 that you can then select and see more detail on.
Okay. And so, where's pharmacy? You're looking at this right now. What do you do when that comes up? And when you get a chance to look at it ahead of time? What's the process for you and the other nighttime pharmacists? What are you looking for?
You select the order that came across, and you open it up and you can see all the details, and then on that other screen where all the other patient information is, you can assess, is this appropriate, is it necessary, what are they using it for, that sort of thing. What kind of condition is the patient in, if you will. You could look at organ function and lab values and all kinds of stuff in the chart there before you either verify or reject the order.
Okay. Did you have the ability on prospective reviews, is that the appropriate term when I say prospective reviews, when you get a chance to look at them ahead of time?
Yes.
Prospective reviews. Do you have the ability to call the doctor or the nurse that placed that order?
Sure.
All right. And so in our hypothetical standard order prospective that comes through, everything checks out. What happens next?
Everything checks out, you click verify, and then depending on where the medication is, you're done in pharmacy or you get the medicine ready. If it's in pixis, you're done. The bed that they need is already on the floor where they need it, so that's it. If it's something you have to make or something that's not in pixis, then you have to get it ready and get it to the floor.
What would you have to make?
IV bags, or there's a lot of just oral meds that, you saw, that was a really good size pixis. They're not all that big, so there's limited real estate in there. You can't have every drug in the pixis machine. So it was not uncommon to get an order for something even oral that had to be sent to the floor.
Did you have techs, pharmacy techs that could then run that stuff up or prepare those IV bags?
Yes,
But just two pharmacists doing what you just described?
correct.
And is that just for the ICU or is that for the whole hospital?
The whole hospital.
All right. Is that, when we talked about earlier, where is pharmacy? That's part of the safety rule you have for good outcome for patients.
Yes.
Is there another way, based on your knowledge and experience, that orders came through PharmNet, through the pixis process, through everything you just described, where you don't have that chance for prospective review?
Yes.
All right. Describe that situation to the jury.
So there, again, this is only really meds that are in pixis on the floor, but that same keyboard you saw there,
Okay, let's get it up there, because you keep pointing up there. Putting back up 15, did I say J? Jeez. Francis. 15H. Okay, since you keep pointing up there, you got that laser pointer, just like you're trying to explain to these folks. Go on.
so the process I previously described, the prospective order review, I said sometimes pharmacy's done. So the nurse on the floor or whomever is going to administer the med can go to the pixis machine, type in the patient's name, find the patient up here, and you will see that order, that medication that was verified, and it will say verified by pharmacy, and then you can open pixis and take it out. Pixis also has an override function. So, for like an emergency situation. So you don't have to wait for pharmacy to verify a medication before it is withdrawn from pixis.
Based on your knowledge, training, and experience, how does somebody up there make something an override?
I never did it personally, but there's an override button on pixis.
On that keyboard?
On the screen. It's a touch screen too.
Oh, but there's an actual button they can push.
It says override, yeah.
Override. So someone up there on that floor, a nurse or whoever wants that medication out of that machine, just has to hit a button called override?
If the medication is eligible for override, yes.
Okay. Based on your training, experience, and knowledge back in 2018, was fentanyl one of those drugs that could be overridden?
Yes.
Was midazolam one of those drugs that could be overridden?
Yes.
All right. So they hit the override button. What happens next?
The pixis machine's opened up and you can remove the medication.
Does pharmacy ever find out about this?
Sometimes.
Let's talk about those sometimes. In our hypothetical, they hit that override. Based on your training and experience, what if they put the order in right there at the machine? They hit the override, the machine, does it actually physically pop open or do the doors just unlock?
No,
Your Honor, he testified that he'd never physically done an override, so I think the questions about what happens aren't appropriate.
Okay, I'm gonna give him a little leeway with it. Do you understand the question?
Yeah, the drawer opens the same whether you overrode it or not.
And you've actually seen the drawer open?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
Fair enough? So that's
Fair
within
enough.
your knowledge?
yes.
Okay. Good?
yeah.
Thank you, sir. So it pops open, and then what if that nurse or whoever's requesting that medicine types in the order under that patient name? Does pharmacy thereafter become aware that someone had done an override?
Yes. Yeah, so you're saying after the medication is in hand because it was overridden in the pixis machine, then an order is placed in the chart? Yes, pharmacy would see that order.
Okay, but this is after the medicine's already been withdrawn?
In your example, when the order was put in after it was withdrawn, correct.
Okay. Yeah, because if the order's put in ahead of time, it's prospective.
Then pharmacy has a chance to verify it, correct.
I'm talking about the hypothetical where it's for, am I using the right term, retrospective review?
Yeah.
Okay. So by the time you guys get it, if it's been overridden, what shows up down there on the first floor? What shows up on your queue? You use that word queue, right?
Yeah, the queue there. It's a discontinued or completed order are one-time orders that have already been given or administered.
All right. So they're in your queue, but it's already said and done.
Correct.
What, if anything, do you therefore do as part of your role as safety for the patient in this case?
At that point, there's nothing you can do. The medication's already been given in your example. So the order will just sit there unless you verify it. It has to, otherwise they just like build up in the queue there. You have to clear them out by verification. It's the same word as if you had reviewed it ahead of time, but it's not the same process.
You said there's nothing you can do with this already filled order as part of your role as safety in this matter?
For that particular instance, no.
Can you explain that a little bit more to the jury about why you feel there's nothing you can do at this point?
Maybe I just misspoke. I didn't say at this point, I said in this instance.
In this instance, that's what I meant.
Because it's already been done. It's water under the bridge. So anything you did, you could do maybe to prevent it from happening again, but for this particular instance, it's already been done.
All right. So, was this a common thing based on your experience as the nighttime pharmacist at Mount Carmel West to see these, what we'll call retrospective reviews?
I don't know. I don't, it wasn't uncommon, but I don't know what you mean by common.
Well, did it happen every shift?
No,
Did it happen every week?
maybe.
Okay. What were the majority of the orders you saw? Prospective or retrospective?
Prospective.
So when we're talking about override, in your mind, maybe it happened once a week, in your memory?
Objection, Your Honor, leading, that wasn't the testimony.
Okay, I agree, let's try to rephrase it.
How many times a week did it happen, retrospective?
I don't know.
Was it common?
Objection,
We just asked that, he said it was
Okay, all right.
uncommon.
So, is that the general two ways that orders would come to the pharmacy?
Yes,
Prospective review, retrospective review.
yes.
And to summarize, retrospective review, you, in your training and experience there, nothing to be done. So what would you do?
You just verify.
Does that mean, in your mind and based on your training and experience, you are approving this after the fact?
No, it means you're getting it out of the queue.
clearing this thing that's your assignment, you gotta get it out.
Yeah, it's an order that came into the queue, and if you don't take action on it, it'll just sit there, and the next guy's gonna have to deal with it.
And can the next guy do anything about it?
No.
All right. So, where is pharmacy on those retrospective reviews as part of patient safety?
In that instance, it's bypassed, I guess, for lack of a better word.
We heard that word yesterday, bypass. Now, what happens if a nurse comes up here and hits the override button on the screen and the machine pops out and they don't put in an order? Do you even see that?
If there's never an order put in, pharmacy wouldn't see it, no.
So you wouldn't even have a chance to retrospectively review those.
If there was never an order put in, correct.
So where is pharmacy when they hit the bypass button and don't even bother to put an order in? Where's pharmacy?
Is that rhetorical?
No, that was a question to you. On those, are you a part of that safety review at all in those instances?
No.
Did you set up this system?
No.
Did you have concerns that you addressed to Greg Dreschlaw about this retrospective verification?
Yeah.
And not for the purpose of the truth of what Greg told you, but based upon what he told you, what did you do? Did you just hit clear, hit verify?
Oh, for those retrospective orders, correct, yes.
All right. A moment, Your Honor. I'm not done. I just want to make sure. Is there a function, part of this computer system we've talked about, ARMnet and CERN, that is you're notified when a nurse scans in the barcode of the medicine as they give the medicine to the patient?
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. So what year did you start doing clinical pharmacy at Mount Carmel?
17,
What month? Do you remember?
July. Well, I was hired in July.
Okay. Well, did you go right to nighttime pharmacy, or did you have an orientation somewhere else?
Yeah, it was, I don't know if you call it shadowing, but you worked with someone else, and that all happened on day shift for, I don't remember, it was 12 or 14 or 16 weeks or something like that. And then once I did go to nights, there were 3 of us for the first, I don't know how long, while, few weeks, month, something like that.
And what hours would you work? What days and hours would you work?
Which one of those? Normal,
Yeah, normal.
9P to 7A, Sunday night to Thursday morning.
So 410s. Thursday morning is your Friday night for people that work a regular daytime job.
Right, right,
Okay. And it's with one other person,
yes.
and Greg Dreschlaw was.
The main other person, yes.
So let's talk about December 11th, 2017. I may approach the witness, Your Honor.
Man,
Showing you what I've marked for identification purposes. This is State's Exhibit 29B. As in- Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
What is that document?
It's a printout of a medication order.
I'm sorry, somebody called, I just couldn't hear.
It's a printout of a medication order.
And who is that for, that patient?
Janet Kavanaugh.
Does this appear to be a fair and accurate representation of what a medication order looks like?
Yes.
All right. And Your Honor, by stipulation of the parties, this is, for the record, this is from the medical records that we have, the parties have stipulated to. This is a page from that.
Okay,
Yeah, stipulated to the authenticity of it, yes. And, okay, just so we're clear.
Okay. $29B. All right, let's see how I can do this. All right. So showing the jury now on the overhead, 29B. You said her name is Janet Kavanaugh? That's it, right up there, right?
Correct.
Do you know what MRN stands for?
Medical record number?
All right, and then her date of birth, right?
Mhm.
Admit date, can you tell the jury, based on your knowledge, what that is?
The date she was admitted to the hospital?
And what would be the discharge date?
The date she left the hospital?
So per this document, she was admitted on 11/25 of 17 and discharged on 12/11 of 17?
Yes.
Okay. And then they have patient type inpatient, what does that mean?
She was admitted to the hospital?
And attending, do you know what attending means?
That's the physician.
Who was attending to her?
Just what they call them. I actually don't know where that came from.
Okay, all right. So, and then this document, it starts off with a label, orders-medication orders, is that correct?
Yes.
Just preliminary?
Question.
I didn't hear what you said, Ms.
I'm sorry, is he going to read the whole record? I'm just, where's the question about what the record is?
Okay, he's clarifying on the record. I assume you're just trying to organize it for the benefit of the jury?
Yeah, Judge, and there's maybe
Okay, I'm gonna give you a
abbreviations people
little
don't know.
leeway.
Thank you. All right. So, all right, what's this first thing up here? I'm pointing to, it says order, it's a colon, order colon, what is that?
It's an order for oxygen.
So, what does that mean?
Means that,
Okay, remember, we don't live your life, so we're trying to understand.
okay,
Okay, so when you see that word oxygen, what does it mean to you as a pharmacist?
got it. This is not a pharmacy order, this is I don't even remember the respiratory order. So the respiratory therapist had put in, or was given an order to put the patient on oxygen.
Okay, and that would be the tank and the tube up the nose or whatever we see. Right. So everything on here is not necessarily for you and Greg, right?
Right.
All right. Let's go down to the next one. Let's talk about the next order. And I'm going to just, that's the order for the oxygen, and then we go about halfway down, and then we see another word that says order, colon. What's this next to that?
So that's a new order, or I guess a different order. The oxygen is ended, a different order for fentanyl.
All right. And for the record, if I may spell that just so everyone's clear, it took me a while. Fentanyl. So, first of all, just so everyone's clear, why is it spelled that way? Do you know?
Oh,
Okay. I mean, with the capital NYL at the end, does that mean anything?
oh, yeah, that's a safety thing. I don't remember which organization instituted it, but they call that tall man lettering. So it means that there is some other medication that is similarly named. It may be completely unrelated, but it's similarly named. So this type of lettering is so that it draws attention to, hey, this is fentanyl and not whatever happens to be close to it. Like I said, I don't even know what the close one would be for fentanyl.
Okay. And then we have parentheses. Can you describe to the jury what's in parentheses and what that means?
Sure. It was, so the order was for fentanyl, and then in the parentheses, they have fentanyl 50 mics per ml, that's the concentration, that's how much of the drug is in each amount of the drug. Injection, it's an injection, it's not oral, and then 2 ml is the volume of the container.
All right. What does this word at the end mean?
That's the brand name.
Sublimaze?
Correct.
Okay. So we've got order date /time. What does that mean?
That's the time the order was put in,
Okay. And what time was this order put in?
5:10 in the morning,
And EST is Eastern Standard Time? Okay.
as far as I know.
All right. order status, colon, what does that say?
Completed.
What does that mean?
Means the order has been completed,
And this was for somebody that's in the hospital, right?
right?
Ordering physician, colon, what name is that and what does that mean for this document?
William Husel, it means he's the doctor that ordered that medication.
All right. And just so we can get it out of the way, do you know William Husel?
Yeah.
And do you stipulate this is William Husel that made this order?
Yes.
Okay, so the man right here is the man that ordered this.
Correct.
Okay. Now, last updated by, colon, what's this?
I don't know.
Well, what's that word? Just
Rudman,
Rudman?
It's his last
What-
name.
What's RN mean?
registered nurse.
And then Tyler A., is that his first name?
Yep.
Okay. And on, what does this mean here?
That's the date, 12/11/17, and the time, 5:10 in the morning.
Okay. So can you summarize from this document who the ordering physician was, who the nurse was, and what date and time it was completed, looking at this document 29B?
You're kind of covering it up there, but I can tell that it was ordered by Dr. William Husel, that this particular order was last updated by Tyler Redman at 5:10. The order details are right below it, and it looks like it was completed at 8:27 in the morning. That is down action here, action type complete, action date and time, 8:27 Eastern Time.
Okay. Before we get to all of that, talk about order details, colon. What do these words mean? And then I want you to describe, based on your training and experience, exactly what's going on.
That's the details of the order. So the bold at the top is,
You point to your screen, but if
sorry.
you use your laser
Yeah,
pointer to show
my
that.
bad. So the bold at the top is the details of the drug being ordered here. It's fentanyl, it's 50 micrograms per mil and a 2 mil vial. The order details is all the other specifics. So the total dose was 1,000 micrograms.
Excuse me, slow down just a little bit for me, please.
Okay?
She's taking medical
Yeah,
things.
I
and-
gotcha. Total dose was 1,000 micrograms.
What's that next thing mean?
IV push is the route of administration.
Stop there, explain that, explain what that means.
That is how they gave the medication. So IV push is IV intravenous, and then push is, I guess you could call it a rapid administration. It's not really, it's over several minutes typically, but it's not an IV bag hanging on a pole that just drips in over a while. It's usually in a syringe, and it's pushed, physically pushed over a period of time.
Over how much time?
3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes?
Yeah. Administered over 3 to 5 minutes for IV push.
Versus, like you said, the bag where you, tell them about that. Tell me the other way to give people medicine.
Yeah, well, IV medication, yeah, so a big bag of, pharmacy would make a fentanyl drip for sedation or pain relief. And it was we would take some of those vials and dilute them into a big bag or a varying sized IV bag, and then you hang it on a pole and it runs, and a pump administers a little bit of that over a period of 2, 4, 6, 8 hours instead of 3 to 5 minutes.
All right. Now, you talked about that first line of 29B, showing you what I've marked for identification purposes has 28B.
Okay. Hold on, Mr. Zion. We got a technical error we're taking care of here real quick. Battery died.
I understand. Well, that'll give me a chance to maybe pull the podium around.
Okay. You right, you good? Maybe not? You want me to test? Test, test? Hold your mouth right. Test, test.
It's all right, keep going.
Okay,
You sure, Sam? It's all right, it's fine.
okay. You're gonna have to give it a little bit more volume. You're encased in this plexiglass, and it feels like it's vibrating off of you. Drives me crazy, okay? But you're gonna have to give me a little bit of volume because she doesn't have the earpiece that's on your mic,
Understood.
okay?
Your Honor, and for the record, 29B is for demonstrative purposes. I'm not alleging these were the actual bottles related to this, but
Okay.
if I may.
Ladies and gentlemen, demonstrative evidence is evidence that's from a different source, okay? But it's to aid and assist you in understanding how the process works or the event that occurred. It's not the physical files that were used that night. They would be demonstrative in the sense they would show you what they look like, okay? Go ahead.
May I proceed?
You may.
Showing you a white bag, 28B, contains several items. I'm going to show you one of them. Do you recognize what I've just shown you from 28B?
Yes.
And what is that?
It's a vial of fentanyl.
Okay, can you look at the dose on that and then look up at 29B and tell them that that's what that would have been like?
Yes. This is what would have been in pixis. 100 micrograms, there's 2 mils of liquid in here, and it's a single-use vial.
Okay. So if I may have that back. So how many of those would Tyler Rudman need to get out of pixis to fill this order of 1,000 micrograms IV push?
10.
So may I, Your Honor, show the jury?
Okay.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that the amount that Tyler Rudman would have had to pull out to give Janet Kavanaugh that order from Dr. Husel?
Yes. Yes, sorry.
Okay, all right, we'll go with that. Your demonstrative, you done with the vials?
No.
Okay.
So, it's an IV push. Based on your training and experience as a pharmacist, what does Tyler Rudman then have to do with these 10 vials to get it into somebody, in this case, Janet Kavanaugh, in 3 to 5 minutes?
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. We'll happen then. Let's talk about what happened on this order.
Okay, so you're done with the demonstrative aid?
Not quite. I mean, if you want me to take them, I'll take them down. I'm sorry. I'll take them down right now. Okay, now we talked, you told them about the 2 ways orders come in to you and Greg at night. Was this order prospective or was this order retrospective?
It appears to be prospective.
Okay. How do you know that that appears to you to be prospective?
Because it was ordered at 5:10
Point up there, show them.
Yeah, I was. Oh, up here, ordered at 5:10. Down here, pharmacist verify, that's me, at 5:14, so after it was ordered. But here it says it was given or completed at 8:27.
Okay.
So it was ordered and then verified and then given.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Did I miss one here? That should be 29 in the 29 series. I'm going to show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit 29BB. This is the actual NAR that relates to this order. Good? May I first look at this?
You may.
Showing you 29BB. Do you recognize that document?
Yes.
Can you explain to them what that document is?
Yes.
What is it?
It's a medication administration record. So it has, well, I guess you'll see what
Well,
it's
hold on,
up
hold it up there. Does this appear to be, knowing that you don't have all this memorized, but that is how it looks like?
with. That is what it looks like, yes.
And Your Honor, for the record, this is also part of those stipulated authentic
Okay.
records. So this is the, 29B is the orders of the medication. And then 29BB, is this the same person up here that we just saw?
Yes.
And does it appear to be for the same hospital admission?
It appears to be yes.
And does it appear to be, as we scoot on down, for the same medication order we just saw? Referring to the fentanyl.
Yes.
Okay. So what's the difference between 29B in the medical records, the orders dash medication orders, and 29BB, the medication administration record? As far as information goes.
I don't know.
Do the medication administration records indicate what that fentanyl was given for?
This one does, yes.
Okay. Is that on the order you would have prospectively reviewed?
No.
All right. Oh, yeah, certainly. So where is pharmacy? Prospective review. You got this order before it's administered. What, if anything, did you do?
I first asked my partner, Greg Dresbach, on nights, hey, this seems a little unusual. What would you do here? And he told me that,
Objection, Your Honor, as to what he told him.
Okay.
Not for purposes of the truth, Your Honor, but for what you did next.
Okay, what was your understanding of your discussion with him?
ask that a different way.
Okay. You had a conversation, there's a thing called hearsay, you can't say what he said.
Got it.
After you talked to him, how do you understand the circumstances?
Understood, thank you.
Okay?
Yep, that I understood the circumstances to be that I was not, crazy for thinking it was unusual, but that it was not necessarily unusual for Dr. Husel, and that I could call to question or maybe get it changed if I wanted to, but it wasn't likely to be changed.
So what did you do?
I called Dr. Husel.
And did Dr. out like on the, is it on a telephone? Is that
Yeah,
how this
yeah,
all
yeah.
works?
Sitting at that desk of 5 there's a phone right there, picked up and called the ICU.
What happened next?
I asked something to the effect of, hey doc, I got this order for fentanyl here. did you add an extra zero on it or something? And he said, nope, that's what, we're doing a procedure up here, that's what I ordered. I said, okay, and I hung up and verified the order. It was very short.
And you're sure that was Dr. Husel you talked to?
Correct.
Was there any concern about someone stealing that medication on this order?
Not that I recall.
Did Dr. Husel in any way indicate you? No, you didn't. I didn't order that. There is an extra zero.
No.
He told you it was for a procedure. There was not an extra zero. And that was it?
Yes.
Why that question? Why the extra zero?
I thought it was a large dose, and that was a kind, I guess, of a way to not break the ice, but, you know, break the ice. Hey, doc, did you fat finger that? Extra zero. It was a way to ask the question without being judgmental or accusatory, maybe. It was just a generic way to ask my question.
Well, we saw how many 1,000 mics is. Going back to 28B, putting up 2 of these vials, that would have been a 100 microgram dose.
No.
No?
There's 100 in each vial.
Oh. Sorry. That would have been a 100 microgram dose.
Right.
And that's what they're kept in the pixis machine at the ICU. Right?
Right, in this case.
How long had you been there? At this point in December of 2017? Is that the right date?
4.5 months.
Okay. What, if anything, did you know about Dr. Husel at this point?
I don't recall. Nothing remarkable.
You what?
I don't recall, nothing remarkable.
Okay. Going to 29C. Coach the witness, Your Honor.
Right.
Show me 29C. What is that, please?
It is a it's several medication orders.
Okay, you're going away from the mic. Your direction towards him. Don't, no. Mic's the important thing.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay,
It's several medication orders.
For amending Larry Brigner?
Brigner, yes.
Brigner, apologies. And what is the date of that?
There's several dates on here. Which one are you referring to?
The fentanyl order.
The fentanyl order. It was ordered 12/10 at 22:34.
And so that's the day before Janet Catherine.
Correct.
And how much is that for?
Could you put that up on the screen?
Oh, sure, I'm sorry. Okay, just the front page, and I hope I called it right, 29C, from the medical records of Larry Brigner, who was admitted on December 17 and discharged on the same day, right?
It would appear, yes.
Okay. And what's this up here at the top? What's say that for me?
Vancomycin,
Yeah, what's that?
it's an antibiotic.
Okay. Well, here we go with fentanyl. That was the one I was asking you about. Is that the same type of vial that we just saw? That size of dose?
No, that was for a 20 ml vial.
Okay,
So that was for a bigger vial.
all right.
okay, you got that all the way to the top.
Oh, Judge, I'm not used to using this one. Okay, is that, See, if I turn it this way to see the whole thing at once.
No, you were fine, you kept on edging it up so that you were erasing what he was trying to look at.
Oh, okay. So show us the fentanyl order on this one.
Here.
All right, and what is the order detail? How much does Dr. Husel ordering Tyler Redmond to administer?
Order details, 500 micrograms, IV push, inject once. Routine is the urgency, if you will. It's just a routine order. It's not a stat order or an urgent order. It's just routine.
Okay. And did you get a chance to look at this? Is this a prospective review or a retrospective review?
Let's see. Order 2234. Action complete at 2236. Pharmacist verify at 2236. So I would say this is retrospective, unless they, retrospective review.
Why do you say that?
It was,
Why?
oh, I thought somebody was saying something. It was administered the same minute as it was verified. So it was either someone up there was extremely fast, or it was given before I got a chance to look at it.
Okay. Mr. Brigner was also given, we go to page 2 of State's Exhibit 29C. Was he also given a benzodiazepine? Oh, yep, sorry. A benzodiazepine.
Yes.
And what was the name of the benzodiazepine he was given?
Midazolam?
And was that given at the same time as the fentanyl per the orders? Going back and then looking at midazolam?
Ordered at the order date time 2234, action type it was completed, action time 2236. So it appears they were completed at the same time.
All right, and can you tell us about the order details on this one and what all that means?
Much of the same. 4 milligrams is the total dose. IV push is how it was being given. Inject is it's IV. Once is it's a one-time order, so it's not a, every 4 hours, every 6 hours, twice a day, whatever. It's just one time. And routine, it was the speed, or speed's the wrong word, the urgency. It was just a routine order. It was not a stat, we got to do this right now.
Okay, and pharmacy verify, what does that say?
Pharmacy verified at 2237.
Okay, and based upon those times, what would you say, was this a prospective or a retrospective review?
This is a retrospective review.
So this shows up in your queue, but it's already done.
Correct.
So to answer the fair question, where is pharmacy on Mr. Brigner, you didn't even get a chance to look at this before it's done.
Correct.
You did for Ms. Kavanaugh, and you made a call, right?
Correct.
All right. Let's look at one more of these. Charles Longstreth, showing you what I've marked for identification purposes, has State's Exhibit 29A.
Can he just start on the projector? He doesn't have to bring it to me, does he?
Huh?
Can he just start at the projector? He doesn't have to bring it to me, does he? Just go back to the projector?
Well, you gotta identify it first,
Okay.
It's fine, we'll fix it.
okay?
29.
Understood.
It's what they call authenticity.
Yeah.
We good, Judge?
Well, he was asking the question, does he have to bring the document up, or can you just show it? I said you had to go through certain hurdles unless everybody agreed.
Do you agree?
Yeah, he can show it. I'm fine with
Okay.
that.
Okay,
Whatever makes the witness more comfortable.
so he'll show it out there and you can identify it.
Very good.
The only problem we've got is if you can't identify it, we have a problem. Okay? Go ahead.
I showed you all the meds stuff beforehand, went through. Okay. 29A, once again, this is, for the record, a document that is for a man named Charles Longstreth, admitted on 3/23 of 18. discharged on 3/25 of 18. This is that same type of document, the orders, medication orders. All right?
Yes.
Is there a
And-
sticker down below?
Huh?
I see a note tab up there for 29.
Yeah, that's just where I had it in my book. Sorry,
Okay.
Judge. All right, so,
Go ahead and show the sticker on the record. Got it. Okay.
okay. So on 3/25, what was the order for Charles Longstreth?
Order of fentanyl,
What was the strength size, the bottle size?
50 micrograms per milliliter, 2 mils in a vial.
So that's that small one again,
Right.
the first ones we showed. Order status,
It was completed.
and it was ordered by,
Dr. William Husel.
and is the nurse on here? Is that the nurse, the RN? When we see
Yes.
RN, is that the nurse?
Yes.
Okay. And once again, it was for how much of that fentanyl at that strength?
At 2120, 500 micrograms, IV push, inject one time, a routine order.
Okay? And do we see your name on this document anywhere?
Yeah, so that, go
Where do we
back
see
down.
it? Point to it, tell them where it is.
That was for the fentanyl order up here.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I skipped down to there was also an order for, what other thing was he ordered at the same time?
Midazolam,
And what is that again?
a benzodiazepine.
Okay? And is that ordered to be administered at the same time?
It was ordered at 2121, action type complete, completed at 2130.
Okay. And how much midazolam did Dr. Husel order?
6 milligrams,
And all at once?
IV push.
Okay. So looking at these orders, Dr. Husel ordered for Mr. Longstreth, he'd be injected over the course of 3 to 5 minutes with 500 micrograms of fentanyl and 6 milligrams of midazolam.
Yes.
Did you verify this order? What was this, retrospective or prospective review? Can you tell looking at this sheet?
Can you pull it down a little bit? Start with the top.
This way?
Yep, thanks.
All
So it was entered at 21, or ordered at 2120, action type complete at 2130, and pharmacist verified at 2124. So this would be a prospective review. It was ordered, then it was verified, then it was given.
So this is how many months after that first one we saw from Janet Kavanaugh?
3,
3 months?
yeah, a little more.
Did you call him again? This is prospective.
Correct.
Where's pharmacy? This is somebody's typed it in, given it to you, giving you enough time to look at it. Did you call Dr. Husel on 500 micrograms of fentanyl and 6 milligrams of midazolam?
I did not.
Why not?
Because I already had talked to him about something bigger than this. I had figured it wouldn't change anything anyway, so I just verified it.
Are there any other doctors sending in orders like this?
Not that I saw, no.
Your Honor, it's my intention now to go to the indicted counts. Where are we going till noon? What do you want to do, sir?
It's 10 till. I imagine it's going to take a little longer than that.
Yes.
Okay, let's do an early lunch. Let's start back at 1:20. Okay, give you enough time if you want to run. I know the microwave line yesterday was a little long. Okay, remember the admonitions? Oh, one thing, let me discuss one thing before you go. We've noticed that on the feed, we're getting reflection, catching outlines of some of your faces. I'm going to try to work on that problem during the noon hour. Okay? The plexiglass seems to be the culprit, so we're trying to fix that. But I want to let you know that they can see like image, it's almost like a ghost type image. So we're trying to fix that right now. But with that, have a wonderful lunch.
All right.
Remember the admonitions too. go ahead and set up, because I got to still talk to him.
Are you speaking to me?
I will in a second.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. Sam, we need to go on for a quick second. Okay, sir, we're gonna take a break, okay? You're not to discuss how you're testifying on the stand. You can answer factual questions, but as to how you're doing something, that's taboo. Okay, so if someone approaches you about how you're testifying, let me know,
Understood?
okay? Okay. You're excused. We're gonna start promptly at 1:20.
I'll be back.
Okay?
Yeah, oh, yeah, just leave it up, thanks.
Yeah. I just have to ask, anything for the record before we take a break?
We're good.
Anything from Ms. Nashi? Anything for the record?
No, thank you.
Okay, we're on recess. I don't know if it's the new camera or your camera. Which feed was it?
No, it's just, Beth had mentioned it to me yesterday, and that's what I said to you. It's not, I don't know that you can really,
See the face, but you see an outline of something that could be their face.
if you're standing really close to it, you can see it's me, but.
Yeah. If the plexiglass is ghosting it, I think it's going to be fine. I don't know which feed it is.
And that's what I left out yesterday. I know, I got it run out of David yesterday. I have 30. Yeah, you're wearing it now. That's how it is. Yeah, and I don't think.
No, that should be disconnected altogether.
So it's getting a little bit.
Hold on, are you under subpoena on this case? Okay. He's not on a witness list, is he?
Who's Slimmer?
I sure hope not.
Even if he
News to
was,
me. Well, they talked about you all day yesterday.
Oh, come on.
Yes, sir.
I need to discuss with the front line. I didn't see my name on the committee to do anything.
We ran out of space.
You put me on the.
We'll get you. I know. I appreciate it.
Last night.
I was in the news all night. Yeah, well, it's not the first time in this trial when I got interviewed, I didn't have blush on. No. No, I'm glad it's announced, everybody's like, we should do it around election time. Oh, hell no. Too much stress. We'll talk.
Seriously, whatever it is.
We've got invites going out, okay?
I'm just.
We'll make sure you get one. And spread. I know. It's just take the place and talk about it. Oh, no, we